Hello everyone and welcome back to Beck's Flavor. If this is your first time here today, a very special welcome to you. My name is Becca and I just love to cook, so welcome to my kitchen. I hope that you love it enough to stay and subscribe to my channel. So in today's video, I will be sharing with you a very easy recipe to making jollof rice. We all know that good jollof rice takes time to make, and sometimes we may not have the time to do so. So I'm going to be sharing with you a very easy method of making jollof rice. And trust me, you're going to love it. As you can see that my family is loving it. They couldn't believe that this jollof was made in the oven. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and let's make this jollof rice. Here are all the ingredients that I will be using to make this oven baked jollof rice. It's really a simple jollof rice that we are going to make, nothing complicated. You can also substitute the chicken for meat if that's what you fancy. It's totally up to you. I will list everything that I use in the description box below for your convenience, so please check that out. So to start off the process of my jollof rice, I will be blending together my tomatoes, ginger, garlic, Scotch bonnet, onions and the bell pepper as you would normally do if you were to make the normal jollof rice, which I have a recipe on, so please check that out as well if you want to make the normal jollof rice. Okay, now with the normal jollof rice, I would have made a stew and then I would have separately cooked my tomato paste, but as you can see here, I am putting the tomato paste in the blending mixture as well, because I will not be making a proper stew as I would do with the normal jollof rice recipe. I'll blend everything smoothly together and then I will be cooking this separately as I would with my normal jollof rice as well. I will cook this down until all the water has reduced and your tomato becomes really thick and there is no more water or liquid in your tomatoes. That's when you know that your tomatoes is properly cooked. So while the tomatoes are cooking, I'll just go ahead now and season up my chicken. Okay, it is really important that you season your chicken really nicely because it is going to be the base of your jollof stew. So in the normal jollof recipe, you would have had a meat stock that you could have put in your tomato stew, but because we're not going to be making a stew, you need to make sure that this chicken or any meat that you use is properly seasoned so you can use that stock to add onto your tomato so that your jollof will just taste nicer. Of course, you can use any seasoning of your choice, but these are the seasoning that I'm using, and I will list everything in the description box below if you want to use the same seasoning. I'll then add a little bit of olive oil just to give it the extra taste, but you can use any other oil of your choice. I will also use half of my shrimp cube and I'll use the other half for the tomatoes. And then I'll just go ahead and mix everything nicely together because I don't want the seasoning to sit at one place. So please make sure that you mix your chicken nicely together to incorporate all the seasoning nicely before you put this in the oven. So I tasted for salt and I realized that I needed some extra salt and a little bit of more seasoning because, like I said, I really want this chicken to taste good so the stew can taste even better. Then I'll just go ahead and put this in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes on 180 degrees or until it's nice, golden and thoroughly cooked. So while the chicken is baking, I'm just going to go ahead and check on the tomatoes. As you can see, there's still a lot of moisture in the tomatoes, so this shows me that my tomatoes is not quite ready. So I'm just going to leave it to cook some more. So after about 15 minutes, I'm just going to check on my chicken to see how it's doing and just flip it around so that all the sides can brown nicely and evenly. So after about 15-20 minutes, my chicken is all ready. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this out of the oven. So I will now go ahead and remove the chicken out of the pan, and I will not scrape anything out of this pan, okay? Don't worry about the burnt looking bits, it's going to be alright. So I will now add my washed rice in the pan. Like I said, don't worry about the burnt bits, it's going to form with the liquid to create the stock that you need. And my tomatoes is also fully cooked down, so I will be adding my tomatoes bits by bit. I won't be adding all of it because it will be too soggy. I ended up using only half of my tomatoes, so you can also use the other half for another rice recipe later. So you see, this recipe is really convenient if you're a busy person. If you're a student, this works so well. You can literally cook a lot of tomatoes and just freeze it up, so when you need it, just take it out of the freezer and defrost it, add your rice and just put it in the oven. It's that easy, guys, hence why I'm bringing this recipe to you. If you're too busy to be making all these jollof rice steps, this is your recipe to go to, okay? So now that I've reached my desired tomato and rice ratio, I'll be adding the rest of my seasoning into the rice, because the only seasoning that I used was for the chicken. And yes, you get a bit of seasoning from the chicken, but it won't be enough to flavor your rice, okay? So please make sure that you flavor this nicely, otherwise your rice is just going to taste bland, and nobody likes a bland tasting jollof rice, okay? So season it nicely to your taste, and as you can see, those black bits, they will just come in nicely with the liquid into your rice. You won't notice it and it won't taste burnt at all. I'm just going to go ahead again and add in a little bit of olive oil into my rice as well. So this recipe is really good if you don't like too much oil, because you can control the amount of oil that you use. If you are making the normal jollof rice, you tend to use a bit more of oil, so this is really a healthy option as well. I will also add in some grated nutmeg. Even though we are baking this jollof rice, but we still have to make sure that it tastes lovely, okay? I will now go ahead and add in some hot water. You know, on this channel, I like hot water. If you know, you know, okay? So I'm just gonna add in a little bit of water and then mix that together. I don't want to use too much water so that I can control the amount of water I put in. So if I put it in the oven and I need some more water, I will add some more water. So please make sure that you don't add too much water. You can always add, but you can't take out. I will then cover this up with a foil, making sure that I have sealed it nicely to keep the heat in so my rice can cook nicely. And then I'll put this in the oven for about 20 minutes on 180 to 200 degrees. So after about 20 minutes, I'll just take out my rice to check on how it is doing. So a quick tip for you here, when you are taking your foil off, please be careful as the steam is really hot, and if you do this forcefully, you might get burnt, okay? So now I will just go ahead and mix together my rice. This is after about 20 minutes in the oven. I just want to see if I need to add some more water or if it can just cook nicely by itself. So that's just what I am trying to decide here, okay? And one of the reasons why this jollof recipe or this baked jollof recipe is so good is the fact that it doesn't get burned on the bottom of the pan. As you can see, the pan is still clear at the bottom. You won't get that if you cook this on the cooker with a pan, or unless you use a non-stick pan, then everything just comes back in together. But with this recipe, you can literally eat all of the rice. Nothing gets thrown away. So I decided that I needed to add some more water, just a little bit, because it was a bit on the dry side. So that is what I'm doing right here, and I will just then put it back in the oven. So I will cover this up again and put back in the oven for another 15 to 20 minutes. And then I will check up on my rice again and it should be ready. So after about another 20 minutes, I am checking up on my jollof rice, and look at that, okay? You don't need to be told that this is going to be good. My jollof rice is ready now. This is how I like my rice. If you like your rice more on a softer consistency, you could just add some more water into it, but this is exactly how I like my jollof rice, okay? Singled out, oh, it is so good. You need to give this recipe a try, okay? If you're busy, or if you simply don't want to slave around in the kitchen all day just to make some jollof rice, you can do this easy way, okay? So this recipe is ideal for a busy worker, busy mom, busy dad, busy student. You don't have time to stand in the kitchen for hours trying to get the perfect jollof rice, okay? You can just make your tomato stew way ahead of time, put it in the fridge or in the freezer, and when you need it, just grab it and pop it in the oven, okay? If you like this recipe, please give me a thumbs up, like and share with all your friends and family. Let them know that you don't have to spend hours to enjoy lovely jollof rice, okay? And it doesn't get burnt. You can have all the grains of the rice that you put in your pan, okay? So if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe and join the Beck's Flavor family, okay? Comment below and let me know what you think about this recipe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.